That was just with regard to the Commonwealth Department. What do you think our chances are, and what time frame do you think we're looking at actually?
Sure. I'll know a little bit more obviously after the meeting with Lindsay Tan. But the indications are that there are a number of Commonwealth departments whose leases will come up for renewal, who are located elsewhere in Canberra. The practice under the previous government was to essentially devolve accommodation options really right down to the individual department, so the secretaries of those departments would make those decisions. My understanding is that under the new government, the Federal Finance Minister has a little bit more of an eye for efficiency and a desire to maximise public expenditure in indirect service delivery areas rather than being spent on rent. And so an advantage that the Gungahlin Town Centre will have over locations elsewhere is it will be very cost effective. So I think there's an economic argument from the Commonwealth's perspective, but an important employment distribution and planning outcome and social outcome, I think, for the ACT. So we will have, I think, a good combination of factors. But I won't be in a position to give a time frame until I've had that meeting.
And just going back one question to the Flemington Road. People in Gungahlin, I should declare my hand for those who don't know, I'm the Liberal candidate here for the Gungahlin area. So, Julia Jones. So with regard to public transport, do you think that we will still get a density good enough to have something like a light rail running along that corridor and yet not end up with an enormous frontage just of concrete from one end to the other?
Well, I think if we pick up the model that Alan's proposed, then yes, we can achieve the levels of density that we want, but also a bit of variance in the built form or in the buildings, as I won't talk like a planner, if I can possibly avoid, to enable that outcome. And again, I think with some good design, and we want some good architecture here as well. That's perhaps the next slide.
People in Gungahlin would like to be able to catch a bus a little more easily, I think.
Certainly, and the money that's in this year's budget for the duplication of that road will enable dedicated public transport lanes. It will also improve pedestrian and cycle access along that major transport corridor.
Well, at least being able to catch a bus that was quicker than cycling would be a good start.
With regard to the Commonwealth departments, I guess one of the key arguments would be that any department that's facing employee shortages at the moment, if they're looking to bring people in from interstate, where are those people going most likely to end up building a house? They're going to be out here. So if they are able to offer a full package of work and accommodation close to linked, where you can travel to work or whatever, then that starts to become a very attractive package. And I think as an association we'd be keen to know which departments they are that are on the list of expiring leases. And we can perhaps, notwithstanding what you said about Lindsay Tanner getting a closer rein on it all, perhaps embark on a bit of a sell job with the departmental secretaries and actually get them to come out to Gungahlin and sit them down for coffee and maybe sort of show them just what a vibrant town centre it is now.
When we've got a little bit more detail, I think you and I can write joint letters.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just show them what it is, because you often get people, I get people, workmates and the like, sort of go, I had to take the kids up to sports up at Amaroo or whatever on the weekend, look through the town centre. Haven't been up there for a long time. Crikey, it's changed. And I think there's probably some pretty busy 24/7 deaf sex and stuff that are in the same sort of boat, haven't been up our way for a while. So if we can drag them up by hook or by crook and show them what a good potential base it is for bringing in new employees, I think that would be a positive. Barry, you had a question.
Commonwealth departments, and I will admit self-interest in what I'm going to bring up.
Is there a particular one I should
the building that was proposed in the weekend Canberra Times, Broad Park, currently used as a car park mainly by DFAT people. The the ground space. They are talking about putting a new building there which will house about 3,000 people or something like that. Yes, they're going to have inbuilt car parking for about 700. It is impossible to get car parking there now, so you take away the area that foreign affairs people use and they won't be amongst the 700 that goes in there. So the approximately 400 that use the space now have to find somewhere else. Then of the 3,000 in the new building, only 2,200 of them will still have to find spaces. It's already overcrowded in Barton, so I don't know how Tanner's got his depth into wanting that, but it's not a good move, crowding a place that's already got parking problems. We don't have ideal public transport. It might be improving with new bus timetables, but it's still not ideal. And I think like you could use that one of your leverages in your talk there, that you're making a current parking situation in town worse. Why don't you consider outer suburbs, Gungahlin?
Yep, I'm happy to raise that next week.
Other questions on those issues? We might move on to one of our other discussions then. The key thing is that, on Flemington Road, do you want to give us an update on where LDA is at? And,
Sure.
Yeah, sorry, guys, Peter and Eva.
I'll come up the front.
With LDA, we're just completing the business planning on the Flemington Road project, and look to put that to our board so that we can commence the project probably in July. We hope to have another aiming for. So, I mean, we'll be coming and talking to you a bit further, Alan. I've taken some notes on some of your concerns that you've raised tonight, and we'll have a further chat to flesh those out a bit more. Just to put that in context though, I mean, we will be having to move forward in the context of the territory plan, of which that document is a precinct code, and also in the context of LDA statement of intent, which requires us to do certain things. So we'll be doing that, but included in that is of course stakeholder management and stakeholder discussion. So we'll come and have a chat to you a little bit further. But in terms of what we've done so far, we've only just really started business planning. So it's early days yet, still plenty of time to inform the final outcomes.
Well, I'm very glad to be here tonight. I'm sorry that my bosses, Stephen Giannakis and Paul Lewis, were not able to come. As I say, I was involved with this planning up until December, so I'm afraid I can't give you an update on our correspondence, but I'm happy to take all your questions on notice. And we are happy to basically make the changes if they are what is needed. But I'd like to say that this is a very robust document. It is flexible. I don't believe that there will be problems with it, with what you have in mind. But we'll go down that track and we'll look at it in a bit more detail. So it's flexible, but it's also robust. I think, in fact, at the end of the day, with some tweaking, you will get a very elegant entrance into your city. I think it is a really good plan. I think, as the Minister said, if we have some really nice architecture and you allow the trees to grow up and the vegetation, it will be a street that will really make you proud.
Thank you. I guess what you said, Evo, that you are bound as a development, just like any private sector development, to comply with what's in the territory plan. That is our key problem. The words that we looked through there are actually part now of the newly gazetted territory plan, and those words about continuous unbroken frontages and the like are actually law. And I can't, my concern is that how do you tweak something that's law without actually going through legislative change?
And picking up on Peter's points, there are elements of flexibility in that.